All right, good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you to the 45th induction ceremony of the Dr. and Mrs. Edmond J. Gicewicz Family UB Athletics Hall of Fame. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, you're not Paul Peck. And you're right, I am not Paul Peck. I'm John Fuller, Associate Athletic Director for Communications here at UB. Unfortunately, Paul is under the weather and couldn't be with us tonight, so I'm going to pinch hit. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I have to imagine that calling 5 straight football games that have been decided in the final minute has to do something with Paul feeling under the weather. So, Paul, we're thinking of you, buddy. Get well soon. So, with saying that, I want to do my best Paul Peck impression here and guide us through the evening. Now, if you know Paul, you know he loves doing events like this so he can show off his pun game. And when I found out he couldn't make it, I asked him if he could send along his script so it wouldn't go to waste. So with that being said, out of respect to Paul, I'm going to do my best Paul here, and this is what Paul sent along. So we're here to induct 6 incredible athletes who made their mark on this athletic program when they were here since they've been gone and now forever in school history. Each of them is larger than life. A massive man who never gave up on his shot to be UB's first Division I national champion. A tennis star who had an enormous impact on a MAC championship team. 2 big boys from the front lines of UB football whose impact took the program to new heights and helped them to get great careers in the big time of the NFL. A softball star whose huge hits were the key to an enormously successful career. And a basketball big man who played big, scored big, blocked big, and always came up big. So they're all tremendous talents worthy of this colossal class of UB greats. So before we get started, we would like to thank the UB Office of Alumni Engagement for sponsoring tonight's induction ceremony. And here representing that office is UB's Assistant Vice President for Alumni Engagement, Kristen Murphy.
Thank you, John. Good evening, everyone. As a proud UB alumna and former student athlete myself, it is an honor to be here tonight representing our global alumni network, now more than 307,000 strong. Our community stretches across all 50 states and more than 150 countries, spanning not only miles, but also generations, industries, and life experiences. And yet we remain united by the values that we will celebrate here tonight: perseverance, integrity, and true blue pride. To our alumni and current student athletes in the room, your presence tonight is a powerful reflection of the enduring spirit of UB athletics. Whether you wore the jersey, cheered on from the stands, or did both, like me, you are part of a legacy that continues to grow. We are one team, one family, champions of each other's journey, united across time and tradition. To our 6 remarkable inductees, congratulations. During your time on campus, you embodied the spirit that defines a true bull: strength, determination, intensity, loyalty, and maybe a little bit of stubbornness, and a whole lot of heart. What you accomplish still impresses today, and your impact lives on in every student athlete who proudly wears the blue and white. On behalf of UB's Global Alumni Network, we are honored to celebrate you tonight.
Thank you, Kristen. At this time, I would like to welcome to the podium our Vice President and Director of Athletics, Mark Allnut.
Good evening, everyone. Well, first of all, let's all have our thoughts out for Paul Peck, and hope he's feeling better. Obviously, when I heard that he wasn't going to be here, I was like, you know what, it's not such a tough act to follow following John Fuller, but then, of course, he got the puns and everything else, and now I have to up my game up for my speech. And then, Kristen, I appreciate you coming up, represent the Alumni Association, obviously being a proud alum here at UB. Well, first and foremost, what an extraordinary class. What an extraordinary class. I mean, we have 6 individuals here that are all great ambassadors for UB. When you just look at the accolades, which I know they'll be mentioned here as we talk about each one individually, you know, we have a MAC champion, we have academic all-MAC, academic all-American, we have a national champion within our presence. We have all-Americans, as I mentioned before. We have a MAC player of the year. So many accolades that represent UB, represent these particular teams, individuals, and obviously bring about so much pride to what we do on a daily basis here at UB. So I'm excited to welcome Alexis Curtiss, Denise Harijanto for tennis, Alexis for softball, Jon Jones for track and field, Jamey Richard is football, Trevor Scott football, then also Mitchell Watt, who unfortunately cannot be here because, you know, he's still playing professionally. You know, we have all these individuals that have earned this opportunity, earned this honor, and we're so proud to be able to bring them back and honor them in front of family and loved ones, other teammates, alums, and just fans of UB. With that being said, we have former Hall of Famers here in the audience. I definitely want to give them the recognition that they deserve. I see Ronald Balter kind of back there in the back there, Mr. UB, so appreciate Ronald, all he does. Don Gilbert. So Don here, where's Don? Right over there. Toonie Murchie, that table over there. Toonie, appreciate everything that you and your family does for UB. Tony Polakar, ran into him, talked to him earlier. It's Tony right there. Thank you, Tony. So I appreciate everything. Obviously, just true ambassadors, as I mentioned before, and obviously incredible people that have done great things for UB. I also have to give a shout out to the Hall of Fame committee, okay? So I'm gonna mention these names, and when you look around, obviously these folks have pull. And these folks are very smart folks because you can look at the extraordinary class we have in front of us. But first and foremost, John Fuller, who is over here to the left, Sean Ferreira, Kristen Murphy, who just came up previously, Mark Frank, Scott Hollander, Eric Alcott, Jason Bird, who I believe is not here, and then Anna Lisa Culver. So let's give our committee a hand. And I'll be chatting with you, John, after this to see if you have any pull at the University of Missouri or even Pembroke Hill High School to get me in the Hall of Fame. So please help me out there. All right. So with that being said, again, you guys enjoy this evening. Extremely fortunate to have these individuals with us, and definitely a well-deserved honor. So with that being said, let's enjoy the evening. Go Bulls.
All right, thank you, Mark. We're going to begin now with the actual induction ceremony, and we're going to begin with our first inductee, softball standout Alexis Curtiss.
Alexis Curtiss was a standout on the diamond for the softball team from 2012 to 2015. She was just the second player in program history to be named All-MAC First Team twice in her career, as well as the second player in program history to be named to the NFCA All-Region First Team. Curtiss is a UB record holder for career doubles with 52 and ranks second in career batting average at 358 and career hits with 198. She ranks in the top 5 in 4 other categories. In 2015, Curtiss set the single-season school record for hits with 72 and doubles with 22. Her .429 batting average in 2015 is second in program history for a single season. She was named to the 2014 MAC All-Tournament team after helping lead the Bulls to the MAC championship game. Congratulations to Alexis Curtiss, the newest member of the UB Athletics Hall of Fame.
All right. Please welcome to the podium and into the UB Athletics Hall of Fame, Alexis Curtiss.
Wow, this is amazing. I am so highly blessed and honored to be here. I'm shaking. First, I want to thank the University at Buffalo and the entire athletic department for this incredible honor. It's a privilege to be standing here tonight among so many great athletes, coaches, staff, alumni, fellow Hall of Famers, and families who have helped shape what makes this university so special. Thank you to everyone who worked to put the ceremony together and to those who continue to celebrate and preserve the legacy of UB athletics. This evening is such a meaningful reminder of the pride, commitment, and community that lives here, and I'm so honored to be a part of it. To my parents, thank you. Looking back, I realized just how much you both did. The sacrifices, the long days, and the endless effort that made my dreams possible. Mom, thank you for every early morning and every late night, for the countless hotel stays, and for driving me from one field to the next, no matter how far. Even after a long day, you always made sure to have dinner on the table. Now that I understand what it takes to run a household and balance a full life, I can truly appreciate the logistics of it all. The time, the money, and the energy you poured in to make sure that I never missed an opportunity. That kind of devotion is something I'll never take for granted. Dad, thank you for being my first coach. You set the ground for the athlete I am today. Thank you for taking me to the park after long days of work, for standing out front to play ball with me when I know you were exhausted. You taught me toughness and patience. However, the patience is still a work in progress. You'll always be my favorite coach, even when I get mad and push you in the bushes. You both showed me what love through action truly is. You showed me what it looks like to be consistent, supportive, and fully present. Every success I've had on and off the field is because of the foundation you two built. I hope tonight feels like your moment too, because it absolutely is. To the University at Buffalo, thank you for being my home away from home and for shaping me into the person I am today. I'm proud beyond words to be a Bull. To my coaches, Coach Peel and Coach Smith, thank you for pushing me beyond my comfort zone and expecting my best, even when it was super hard. To my teammates, thank you for the laughs, the grind, the long bus rides, and the lifelong memories. And to the athletic staff, the people behind the scenes who rarely get enough credit, thank you for the time, care, and energy you pour into student athletes. The culture you've built here is something I will always carry with me. And finally, to my wife and family, thank you for traveling all the way here to celebrate this night with me. Even though you weren't there for my college years, I'm so grateful you get to see this part of my story. Having you here makes this honor even more special, and I'm thankful every day for your love and support. When I first stepped foot on campus and walked through Alumni Arena, I remember stopping and looking up at the Hall of Fame wall. I turned to my parents and said, I want to make it on that wall one day. That goal never left my mind, and to stand here tonight, years later, living that dream is surreal. I'm so deeply honored and forever grateful. Thank you, UB, for letting me be a part of your story and for being such a defining part of mine. And finally, congrats to the Hall of Fame class of 2025. Go Bulls.
All right, our next inductee is one of two from the football team. This is Jamey Richard.
Jamey Richard was one of the best centers to ever play on the UB football team from 2003 to 2007. A two-time team captain, Richard was named All-MAC and was a Pro Football Weekly All-American in 2007. He was the first UB football player to earn All-America honors since UB returned to the FBS ranks in 1999. Richard was also an academic All-MAC selection. He was selected to play in the 2008 Hula Bowl and was just the second UB football player to earn an invitation to the NFL Combine. He was drafted by the Indianapolis Colts in the 2008 NFL Draft, where he spent 5 seasons. He was named to the PFW All-Rookie team in 2008. Congratulations to Jamey Richard, the newest member of the UB Athletics Hall of Fame.
Please welcome up to the stage Jamey Richard.
All right, thank you. It's my daughter, Mia. All right, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I know everybody didn't come here to listen to me talk tonight, so I'm humbled and honored to be on the stage this evening. Congratulations to all the inductees here tonight. Especially excited to share the stage with Trevor Scott, former teammate, great friend of mine, still to this day. Yes, baby. We share the stage with Trevor. We came in together. We left together. It's only fitting that we go into the Hall of Fame together. I'm from Connecticut originally, but I feel like I grew up in Buffalo. Buffalo taught me a lot about life. Unfortunately, it wasn't about winning. It taught me how to act when the chips are against you. Hey, come on, you distract me. Will you fold, will you push forward when the odds are against you? Will you give up, or will you be relentless? Thank you to my family and friends for coming out. I know the time, effort, and energy to get here wasn't easy. This has been a dream of mine for the last 22 years, so to be standing on this stage tonight, I'm extremely grateful. Special thanks to my father, who made the effort 20 plus years ago to make it to every game that I played in my entire college career. So if there's a category for Hall of Fame fans, I think Charles Richard should be in it. And that's it, short and sweet. Thank you.
Our next inductee comes from the men's basketball team, and it's Mitchell Watt.
Mitchell Watt was a force for the men's basketball team from 2008 to 2012. He was one of the Bulls' most prolific shot blockers in program history, as he ranks third all-time with 196. His 74 blocks in 2012 ranked fifth in program history for a single season, and his 68 blocks in 2011 ranked sixth. Watt scored 1,061 career points, culminated by his 2011 and 12 campaign, when he averaged 16.3 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 2.3 blocks, en route to becoming just the second player in school history to be named Mid-American Conference Player of the Year. He earned All-America honors that same season. Watt was the first UB player invited to play in the Reese's College All-Star Game at the 2012 Final Four. Since graduating from UB, Watt has embarked on a long and successful career playing professionally overseas, leading teams to 5 championships in Germany, Italy, and Israel. He currently is playing professionally in Japan. Congratulations to Mitchell Watt, the newest member of the UB Athletics Hall of Fame.
Now, Mitch is in the middle of his season over in Japan and unfortunately couldn't be with us tonight, but he did send along this video of thanks.
Good evening. Greetings from Japan. It's such an honor to be inducted in the UB Athletics Hall of Fame. And to my fellow inductees, congratulations. I wish I could share this evening with you. I'd like to start by thanking Mark Allnut and the athletic department for giving student athletes like myself the tools we needed to be successful. I'd like to thank my strength and conditioning coaches, Ed and Jake, for taking a scrawny kid from Arizona and helping me build my body up to compete at the collegiate level. I'd like to thank Jim Molesky for keeping me healthy and keeping me out on the court. And I'd like to thank my teammates, my brothers on the floor. Basketball requires everybody to be successful, and I was lucky enough to be surrounded by amazing players, especially my point guards, Byron Mulkey and Tony Watson. Thank you for making me look better than I was. To my coaches, Reggie Witherspoon, James Quitchoff, Turner Battle, Kevin Heck, and Kevin Lake. You guys were mentors to me on and off the floor and really helped me lay the foundation that I'm standing on in my career today. Which found me in sunny Arizona. Buffalo and Chili March. You got me to commit, and boy, am I happy I did it. My 4 years at UB and brought me out to Buffalo and Chili March. You got me to commit, and boy, am I happy I did. My 4 years at UB were a blessing, and Spoon, thank you so much for put me in position over and over to be successful. Thank you for seeing the vision and believing in me from start to finish. And lastly, to my wife, Nicole, you quite literally were my cheerleader from day one. I couldn't be happier for the life that we built together. You and your family gave me a home away from home. Thank you so much for the 4 years you all have given me at UB. The success I had, I shared with you, and tonight is more for you than
Here to accept Mitch's ring was his assistant coach. He was assistant coach here from 1999 to 2013. Please welcome Jim Kwitchoff. All right, our next inductee is Denise Harijanto of women's tennis.
Denise Harijanto played women's tennis for the Bulls from 2006 to 2010. She was the top singles player on UB's MAC championship team in 2008. A four-time All-MAC selection, Harijanto is the Bulls' all-time leader in career doubles wins with 90 and ranks third in program history in career singles wins with 81. She was named the ITA Northeast Senior Player of the Year in 2010. Harijanto was also a standout in the classroom, as she was a three-time academic All-MAC selection, an ITA Scholar Athlete, and earned the 2007-2008 SUNY Chancellor Scholar Athlete Award. Congratulations to Denise Harijanto, the newest member of the UB Athletics Hall of Fame.
Please welcome Denise Harijanto to the podium and into the UB Athletics Hall of Fame.
I had a printout note, but forgot to take it with me, so I have my chicken scratch notes. I'm honored and humbled for this recognition. I want to thank the Heavenly Lord for putting an 18-year-old girl from Indonesia to the path to UB coming here, and especially I want to dedicate this recognition to two strong and impactful ladies in my life. First is my former coach, Augustina, who believed in me since I was 12, and she sacrificed a lot of her time and family life to give me the best opportunity to train every day, get me to the tennis court, get me sponsors to travel to tennis tournaments. And the second lady that I want to honor is Coach Kathy Twist. She may be small, but she's mighty. She's tough. She challenges me. She challenged me because she knows I can handle it. I can give more. And in fact, in 2008, I was plagued with a serious injury where after every single match, I couldn't lift my left legs. But she taught me to overcome adversity, to be a problem solver. In fact, I had to play with only an underhand serve and a one-handed backhand when I'm naturally two-handed. I had to play serve and volley and chip and charge going to the net, and the woman sometimes doesn't know how to handle it. And that was the year that, as a team, we won the first MAC championship ever in UB history. So that was a special year. And when they say it takes a village, it really does. UB is a one big family that's full of supportive and care and love to all of the student athletes. I want to thank my assistant coach, Kristen Ortman, and my fellow teammates. Smai's here. These ladies, they're tremendous support to me, both on and off the courts. I want to also thank the sports performance coach, Ed Fitzsimmons. I don't know if you know him, but he's quite a legend. He has a tattoo on his calf of a weightlifter. I also want to thank the academic advisor, Pat Wilson. She is such a lovely lady. She developed such a beautiful relationship with the teachers that would allow us as student athletes to take our exams on the road sometimes. And to all of the tutors, and this is coming from this tremendous support from UB, of course. As an international athlete, sometimes it's hard for me to keep up with the English in big classes, so I get to take advantage of all the tutors that I need for every single class. I feel like I have tutors for every single of my classes. So thank you. And without UB, I wouldn't be where I am. It's where I met my husband. He's my cheerleader since day one. He's my inspiration that motivates me to be my best version every day. And with my husband, now we have 3 lovely children, Ace, Sky, and Hugh. I'm so glad that you get to see this part of me and to witness this beautiful evening. And lastly, to my family in Indonesia, Mom, Dad, my sister, and my brother, I hope I made you proud. Go Bulls.
Okay, we're back to the gridiron for our next inductee. This is Trevor Scott.
Trevor Scott began his career on the UB football team as a tight end, but moved to defensive end in 2006, and his career flourished. In only 2 seasons playing defensive end, Scott still ranks 4th in program history with 19 career sacks. His 10 sacks in 2007 ranked 5th in program history for a single season, second only to Khalil Mack in the Bulls' FBS era. The 2-time team captain was named All-MAC in 2007 and was runner-up for MAC Defensive Player of the Year. Following his UB career, Scott was selected by the Raiders in the NFL Draft. His 5 sacks in 2008 tied for the most by an NFL rookie that season. His NFL career spanned 7 seasons with the Raiders, Patriots, Buccaneers, and Bears. Congratulations to Trevor Scott, the newest member of the UB Athletics Hall of Fame.
Please welcome to the stage Trevor Scott.
Good evening. What's up, babe? First, I want to say that I'm honored, I'm humbled to be here, to be selected in the UB Athletic Hall of Fame. Congratulations to all this year's inductees today and past inductees. It's like I said, it's an extreme honor to be here, standing with you now. And it's especially humbling to be, going to my guy Jamey. Like you said, I mean, we came in here 2003 together, didn't know, our butts from a hole in the ground. And now we're standing here. So it was a pleasure playing with you all these years. And again, all of our past teammates that are also here right now. It was a pleasure playing with you guys. So I really don't like talking about myself, but I guess you're going to hear an earful. So first and foremost, to my family, I would not be here without you, my mom, my stepdad, my brothers. Everything that, that we went through, that, my mother went through to make sure that I'm up here today. You could write a book, so just everything from, growing up in a small town of Potsdam, New York, just making sure, that I stayed a kid, and taught me really what hard work is, and dedication, take care of your mind, body, and so thank you to my mom, and then my stepdad. I remember all of our late night talks, after every game or whatever it was just always even when I didn't want to hear it, I'm just like, God, all right, I get it, but he was just always on it, just to make sure that, just to really push me, make sure that, that I was doing okay, right? And even though I didn't understand like what he was really doing as far as, pushing me, I mean, I get it. You don't really know what you're going through until you're old, looking back. But seriously though, my brothers, Alice, Seth, Christopher, I love you guys to death. But especially my mom, heck, I think I talk to her every day in Buffalo, every single day I think I talk to you. But yeah, so my teammates, everyone that's in attendance tonight, it means the world to me that you came up there to support, me and Jamey. And I know in just all the congratulatory, texts, emails, DMs from people that aren't here, it means the world to us. Because, we were a family, right? We created like a brotherhood. We were all from different parts of the country, and now all of a sudden, like, we're a band of brothers. I was a small kid from Potsdam, New York, and now I'm at this big university. You could put my entire town in the parameters of the university, right? So, but everything that we went through, you were my family, right? you were my home away from home. This university, everybody a part of it. You want to talk about like really getting close to somebody. I feel like you don't really get close to somebody until you're going through, like the suck. The stuff that you don't want to do, the early mornings. That's the time you really like grow and you really like form a bond with somebody. So I wouldn't be without me, without you. Same thing with my family. This is this is a team win for my family, my teammates, right? It's just not about me. Right. I remember everything from the freshman Fridays, the stuff that, that we were doing that I'm not even going to say what we were doing, but we're doing some intense stuff that really brought us together. You know what I mean? And just everything from, the dorm life to, off-campus life, just living with the guys, day in, day out, just always pushing each other. It was the absolute best. My greatest memories are in, that locker room across the street. That was like some of my favorite times, of my life, it's just and then, you graduate from college, and everyone's going their separate ways, and it's everyone keeps in contact with each other, you may not see each other like you did, but you pick right back up where you left off, without even skipping a beat, right? And that was just our 5 years together. Just day in, day out, pushing each other, practice field, classroom, the weight room, all that stuff. It was just, it was everything, man. And it pushed me to be the best. I never wanted to let anyone down, right? I never wanted to be the guy you're going to put on field, you're going to put on the film and be like, oh, what's this guy doing? He wasn't doing his job. I never wanted to be the guy that, was, skipping class. You know what I mean? I never wanted to be the guy, right? I wanted to be the guy that was, accountable to the team and that could make everybody, proud, especially my family, my teammates. Never wanted to be a distraction, right? Because, the world is full of them, right? I just wanted to be laser focused, be locked in, and just do what I had to do to make, the team, my family, my teammates proud. So to my coaches, from Potsdam, New York, not a lot of, at this particular time, and still I think to this time, not a lot of people are getting out, athletically, right? So to Jim Hoffer, Antonio Goss, my first coaches, my first recruiters that came up to Potsdam, New York, and found a kid and invited him to camp and did well, and then that was it, right? I wasn't, 5-star camp. I wasn't a 5-star athlete. I was probably more of a less than a 0-star, right? But it didn't matter to me, right? Because I came here, I performed, and this was my home. Right, and then so after our sophomore year, Coach Hoffer ends up, getting released, and then Turner Gill came in. Right, I was a backup tight end always, right, and then Coach Gill came in, and he said, what do you think about playing defense? So I said, all right, I guess we're playing defense now, But it was just I didn't skip a beat. To me, it was just whatever's going to help the team win. If this is what you think's going to, be best for the team, and that's what I'm going to do. So thanks to, Coach Gill for making me a defensive end. And then just because I kind of took off from there, right? I had great, defensive coordinators, Jimmy Williams. I had great D-line coaches, Coach Moose. I wouldn't be anything without them, right? Because I really took a kid that never played defensive end before, taught me what I needed to know, and just kind of, the rest was history there. To the university and staff, especially the compliance department, Kelly Cruttenden, I mean, she was huge in just making sure I was even eligible to get into the University of Buffalo, because like I said, it wasn't a thing, right? Like, all right, we like this kid, but doesn't really have the credits to come here. What are we doing? So, she was instrumental, her, with my school, with my parents, just to make sure that, all right, well, if you want to go to college, you better, this is what you need to do, right? Because it wasn't like they didn't know, they just didn't know, So, she was huge in making sure I was able to, get eligible to come here. Rashidi Green, he was instrumental in just, helping us, schedule classes, right? Like, this is where you're supposed to be. This is where you're supposed to do. So he was huge. Paul Batar, he was great. He was what was making the program go, right? He was the guy. So I think like my reflection, being at UB, again, we are, like I said, a band of brothers. I wouldn't be here without you. Just like all the no's, people can say whatever they want, they can feel however they want about you, but what are you going to do about it? You going to listen to people that tell you no? Or are you going to just believe in yourself and, push forward? I remember coming out and, getting letters from, this, that, and the other. And I remember I had someone in high school say they give these letters to everybody, right? So if I would have listened to him, I just would have been all right, well, then I guess it's not for me, right? I remember going to Syracuse to a football camp there, and, someone that I sent my highlight tape to, and then I saw him that night after one of the practices with 800 kids. I was probably not going to get recognized tonight, but then I had the head coach of that particular program walk through the hallways that night and was and I remember, hey, coach, did you get my highlight tape? And I remember him saying yeah, we got your highlight tape, but you're just too small. So if I would have listened to him, who knows what would have happened, right? But I didn't care what anybody said. I had the belief of my family, who always told me, you can be whatever you want to be, right? You're in the hands of God here. Put in the hard work, and let's see what happens, right? Because, great things happen to people who work hard, right? And that's what I was always told, so that's what I always did. UB made me tough, right? Like Jamey said, I think we won 10 games in 5 years. But it was the best 5 years, I think, that I ever went through, right? My closest friends, you guys are my family, right? We all went through it. We went through it together. You see what I'm saying? It didn't matter, right? We made each other better. The amount of athletes and talent that we had at UB was crazy. I tell guys all the time, when I got in the league or whatever, you from UB? I said, Buffalo? I said, yeah. I said, you wouldn't even believe the athletes that we have coming out of that place, right? And then year in and year out, we're proving that, right? I think, how many we got? 10 guys, 10 or plus guys more right now on active rosters. It's crazy. The amount of athletes and that have come out of here is just, it's awesome, right? It's a great day and a great year to be a Bull. We're always cheering, no matter what sport it is. Us down in Pittsburgh, we bleed blue, man. No matter what. At the end of the day, this is where home has always been here, always will be here. I was just talking to my wife today. I was shoot, how pumped are you right now driving up to Buffalo? This, it's just, there's no energy like Buffalo. You know what I mean? And it's just the best. So in closing here, I've said without UB, I wouldn't have the life I have today, right? I wouldn't have, the best friends. I wouldn't have the friendships, the family that I have. And it's all, and thanks to Buffalo, right? I wouldn't have my wife who ran track here. I wouldn't have my 3 amazing kids, right? I'll always be forever a Bull. So thank you very much. Have a good night.
All right, our final inductee of the evening is Jon Jones of the men's track and field team.
Jon Jones is the most decorated shot put thrower in UB history. A 6-time All-American and 6-time All-MAC first-team selection, Jones became the first and to date only individual to win a national championship at UB, as he won the shot put title at the 2015 NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships. He is the school record holder in both the indoor and outdoor shot put. Following his collegiate career, Jones found success on the national and world stage, finishing 4th at the 2014 U.S. Outdoor Championships, 5th at the 2016 Indoor World Championships, and was the USA champion at the 2017 Indoor Championships. Congratulations to Jon Jones, the newest member of the UB Athletics Hall of Fame.
Please welcome to the stage newest Hall of Famer Jon Jones.
I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Thank you to everyone for coming. Thank you to my family. Thank you to my wife, my mom, everyone for coming. Congratulations to all the other inductees. This is, I would say, probably one of the best classes to the Hall of Fame, I would say. I think so. I want to say, thank you a ton to my coach, Garnham. He believed in me. He gave me the opportunity, and we got it done. Thank you.
All right, well, that will conclude our evening. I will ask if all of our inductees can get one more photo all together here before we leave, before the evening's over. We'd appreciate that. Otherwise, I want to thank everybody for coming out today. Busy weekend here at UB this weekend. We have football tomorrow at 1 o'clock against Akron. Men's basketball is playing Syracuse down at the KeyBank Center at 7 o'clock. And then women's basketball is playing Canisius here on Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. So hope to see everybody there. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Congratulations to all our inductees, and go Bulls.